Good morning and welcome. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Loretta Besson, and I'm a retirement plan specialist here at Goulden and McCarthy. I would like to welcome you to our Financial Wellness Program series of webinars. I am joined today by Rich Perrette, Retirement Counselor at Prudential, who will cover the presentation on understanding Social Security. As a reminder, our team at Goulden and McCarthy is available to help answer any questions you may have regarding this presentation or your financial plan more broadly. In the interest of time, we will not be taking questions during this presentation. However, I will provide our contact information again following the presentation. And with that, I will turn it over to Richard.
Thank you. So good morning. Today we're going to take a look at Social Security and cover some of the basics about it. Before I do that, I want to kind of walk you through the lens at which we really view Social Security. So I just want to take a moment and talk about retirement planning. And when I think about planning for retirement, I think it's just about really building a paycheck. So when we go to work, we get a paycheck. And when we retire, we're responsible for creating our own paycheck. And if our retirement paycheck can equal our paycheck that we had while we were working, well, that's a good place to be. So we want to make that retirement paycheck as good as it can possibly be. And Social Security is a really big part of that. So let's take a look at Social Security. I have two disclosures to cover. The first one is basically that this presentation is for information only. We're not here to tell you which Social Security option you should check or take. The second one is about Social Security itself. What we're covering today is based on the law as it is viewed today. If there's changes to the laws, then we will change our presentation. But we're going to go forward with the way it is today. So today's agenda is about individual benefits, spousal benefits, and some maximization strategies for Social Security. One of the biggest challenges for planning for Social Security is longevity. If you are healthy at age 65 and single, you have a 50% chance of living till age 85. And you have a 25% chance of living to age 94. For those of us who are married, we have a 50% chance of living to 92, and one of us has a 25% chance of living to 97. So they did a study on these married people to try and figure out why they lived longer than everyone else, and they came up with two factors: love and spite. So we're going to be around for a while, so we have to plan for that. The sad truth is, today, 3 out of 4 Americans are collecting their Social Security before they reach their full retirement age. Actually, it's about 74%. And a third of those people are actually collecting just because they can. They're not doing any planning. They just reach age 62 and say, I want my benefit. So how does Social Security calculate the benefit? First of all, to collect your own benefit or to be eligible for your own benefit, you have to have 40 quarters of wages paid into Social Security. Those quarters do not have to be consecutive. As of 2019, you have to make $1,320 in a quarter for that quarter to count. Social Security is going to base our benefit on the highest 35 years of earnings. So if we don't have 35 years of earnings, there'll be a 0 inserted for any year less than 35. So if I have 32 years of earnings history, I will have 3 zeros in my calculation, which will result in a lower benefit. So you may be familiar with this page. It is your Social Security benefit statement. And this statement will be sent out to you starting 3 months before you reach age 60. And this is a good place to start for looking at your benefits, but it's really not the best place. This statement has a couple of assumptions. Number one, it assumes that you're going to work until age 62 or 67 or 70 to collect that number in the bottom. The second thing is it assumes that you're going to make what you made the previous year. So again, this is a place to start, but it's really not the best place. The best thing you want to do is go to socialsecurity.gov/myaccount, create a user ID and a password, and that will allow you to see this statement. And more importantly, it's going to allow you to use some of the calculators. one of the calculators on that website allows you to say, I'm going to retire at age 61, 64, whatever the age is, and then it will recalculate your benefit for you. So that's a much better tool to use. If you do go to socialsecurity.gov/myaccount and sign up, you will not be mailed the statement anymore. Just want to know that information. What is your full retirement age? For people born between 1943 and 54, the full retirement age is 66 years. From 1955 through 59, it goes up 2 months for each year. And people born 1960 and later, the full retirement age is 67. One of the questions we get asked often is, can you take your benefit early? And the answer is yes. But if you choose to take your own benefit early, you will take a permanent reduction in your benefit. So someone that's full retirement age 66, who decides to collect at 62, will take a 25% permanent reduction. Someone full retirement age 67 who decides to collect at 62 will take a 30% permanent reduction in their benefit. So if you are going to collect early, you want to consider these questions. One of them is working. Are you going to actually retire? Because if you're going to work even part-time, there's something called an earnings limit test that you will have to contend with. Longevity. How is your health? If people are healthy, they may want to wait to collect their Social Security. If they're not healthy, they may want to tap into that Social Security benefit early. And when you're married, you really want to work as a team. So what's the age difference between you and your spouse? Who has the higher benefit? The person that has the lower benefit may want to collect early and have the other person wait. Again, you want to work as a team. So I told you that there was an earnings limit test, and this is how this would work. If I decided to retire, to collect at age 62, and I was still working, I'm allowed to make $17,640 a year. But for every $2 I earn above that amount, I have to give $1 back. In the year in which I reach my full retirement age, I'm actually allowed to make $46,920 in a year. Again, for every $3 I make above that, I'd have to give $1 back. And once I reach my birthday, I can make as much as I want, and I don't have that earnings limit test anymore. So let's walk through an example for that. We have John, who is 62, and he's getting $1,000 a month from his Social Security benefit. John is still working. He makes $27,640 per year. He is $10,000 over the earnings threshold, which means he's going to give up $5,000 of his benefit. So John is only going to receive $7,000 in benefits this year. Again, once John reaches his full retirement age, birthday, the earnings limit test will no longer apply to him. Can you change your mind with Social Security? Absolutely. You can actually essentially have a do-over. But to have a do-over, there's three things about that. Number one, you have to cancel your Social Security within 12 months of collecting. Number two, you must pay everything back that you collected. And number three, you can only do this once in your lifetime. So you have one chance to say, you know what, I made a mistake. Here's the money back, and I'm going to wait a little bit longer. For those people who wait past their full retirement age, there is a benefit to doing that, and that is that their benefit will grow by 8% per year, simple interest, for each year that they wait past their full retirement age. The other thing about that is any cost of living adjustments given during that time period that the person is waiting, that person will also receive. So if there's a 2% cost of living adjustment, instead of having 8% growth, they would have 10% growth that year. Is Social Security taxed? And we're going to walk through this slide. So someone that is single can make up to $25,000 and not have their Social Security benefit taxable. From $25,000 to $34,000, up to 50% of the benefit is taxable. And above $34,000, up to 85% of the benefit is taxable. Doesn't mean they lose 85% of the benefit. It just means 85% of the benefit becomes taxable. For married people filing jointly, they can make up to $32,000 and have Social Security not be taxable. From $32,000 to $44,000, up to 50% is taxable. And above $44,000, up to 85% of the benefit is taxable. So what counts to determine these numbers? First off, half of the Social Security benefit received would count. So in John's case, he was making $12,000. $6,000 would count towards those numbers. Any income from municipal bonds would count. Wages from jobs, business income, interest, capital gains, dividends, traditional IRA distributions or other retirement plan distributions, rental income. The things that don't necessarily count are, number one, tax-deferred growth inside the retirement plan because that's not being taken. But income from Roth IRAs do not count, and non-taxable income from life insurance do not count. But the majority of the income sources will count towards that grid that we covered. Let's take a moment to talk about spousal benefits. A married individual can claim Social Security benefits based on either their own personal record or a spouse's earnings record. If a person wants to collect based on their spouse's record, they can receive up to 50% of their spouse's Social Security benefit. They cannot claim the spousal benefit until the spouse actually files to collect their benefit. So let's just walk through another scenario here. Is can the spouse collect early? And the answer is yes, just like with their own personal benefit that can be collected early, a spousal benefit can be collected early. Again, the maximum spousal benefit would be 50%. So somebody full retirement age at 66 who wants to collect at 62 would only get 35% spousal benefit. For a full retirement age of 67, at age 62, they'd get 32.5 spousal benefit. It's really best to kind of walk through an example, so let's give you one here. We have Gary and Amy. Gary's primary insurance amount benefit is $2,000 a month. Amy has her own benefit of $600 a month. Amy's benefit is less than half of Gary's, so Amy is entitled to a spousal benefit. If Gary and Amy were the same age and both were to file it at 66, Gary would receive $2,000 a month. Amy would get $1,000 a month, but her benefit would be really broken into two pieces. Amy would be entitled to $600 from her benefit, and she'd be entitled to a $400 spousal benefit to bring her amount up to $1,000. Now, if Gary and Amy decided to collect at 62, Gary would collect only 75% of his benefit, so he would get $1,500 a month. Amy's benefit of $600 would be reduced to $450 a month, and Amy would get 35% of the $2,000, so that would be $700 total. So her benefit would consist of the two benefits, her benefit of $450 and the $250 spousal benefit. What happens if Amy decides to collect at 62 if Gary doesn't collect till 66? Well, Amy's going to get her benefit of $450 because she's getting that reduced amount. But when Gary starts to collect at 66, Amy would then be entitled to the spousal benefit, but would be based on her collecting at 62, not Gary at 66. So she would still get to the $700 monthly number. So she'd get a $250 raise when Gary turned 66 and started to collect. Let's talk about survivor benefits. The survivor benefit can receive their benefit or step up to the benefit of the deceased spouse. If the survivor is full retirement age, it's 100% of the spouse's benefit. Survivor benefits can start as early as age 60, but they are subject to the earnings limit cap. I'd like to share an example with you. I met a couple several years ago, and they were both 60 years old. They were going to retire at 66, which was their full retirement age. Their mortgage would be paid for. They were going to both collect Social Security at that time. They would get 2 pensions and 2 Social Security checks and their deferred compensation plan. Unfortunately, the husband passed away at 63 which changed the picture. He had not filed for his pension, so he basically got a return of contribution from his pension that could be rolled to an IRA. When I sat down with his spouse, we looked at the numbers, and her maximum pension plus the survivor benefit were enough for her to live on because the life insurance that she received paid off the mortgage. So she didn't need as much in retirement. So we were able to use the spousal benefit along with her maximum pension and a small monthly stipend from the deferred comp plan. And she was going to wait till age 70 for her own Social Security benefit because it would grow by 32%. So not the best situation, but we always want to know what the options are for the people. So what about a divorced person? A divorced person can collect either a survivor benefit or a spousal benefit if three things are met. Number one, the marriage had to be at least 10 years. Number two, the person who wants to collect the survivor benefit or the spousal benefit cannot be remarried. And the ex-spouse must be entitled to receive Social Security. So they have to be Social Security age. They don't have to be collecting it. They just have to be the correct age. And the ex-spouse can be remarried. That's fine. It's just the person who wants to collect on the other one cannot. For the survivor benefit for divorce, again, the marriage had to last at least 10 years. The person has to be 60 or older to collect, and you can't remarry until after age 60. I want to finish with some talking about maximizing Social Security benefits. I'm going to give you a couple examples. Here's our little ditty about Jack and Diane. You can tell how old I am now. Diane and Jack are both age 66. Diane decides to collect her benefit at 66. She's going to get $1,500 a month. Jack decides to wait. Jack's benefit is going to grow by 8% per year for those 4 years. So if his benefit was $2,000 at age 66, his benefit at age 70 would be $2,640. So Diane files, Jack waits. Here is another option called a restricted application. This is a grandfathered process, and this is for people that are born on or before January 1st, 1954. So if someone is born on or before January 1st, 1954, they have this option. And I'm going to walk you through it. Again, we have Diane at 66, and she collects her benefit. She gets $1,500 a month. Once Diane collects her benefit, Jack is entitled to file a restricted application. Jack is entitled to get 50% of Diane's benefit. So he would get $750 a month. This does not affect Diane's benefit in any way, shape, or form. She'll get $1,500 a month. He'll get $750 a month. What's going to happen, though, Jack's benefit is going to grow by 8% per year for every year he waits from 66 till 70. He can turn this off at any time and start to collect his own benefit. Again, if Jack waited till 70, his benefit would be $2,640. So at 70, Jack's getting $2,640. Diane's getting $1,500. If Jack were to die, Diane's going to get the highest of the two numbers. So Diane would actually collect $2,640. So when we're married, as far as collecting, we really want to work together and look at the age difference, if there is an age difference. Look at whose benefit is larger of the two people. The person who has the smaller benefit may want to collect early and have the other person wait to collect a higher benefit later. Because, again, what happens when someone passes away is the highest number goes forward. So, in summary, you should look at your statements. You want to make sure that those numbers on those statements are right. You can go on to socialsecurity.gov/my account and create that user ID to view your statement as well as use the tool. The one thing I would say about helping our participants, because I deal with a lot of them, is if we could help our participants understand Social Security options better, We can show them how they can use their employer's retirement plan as a bridge to get to a higher Social Security benefit. This would increase the plan enrollment and savings rates of each plan. And most importantly, it would give participants a goal and a strategy to reach that goal. Thank you very much for your time.
Great. Thank you so much, Rich. We appreciate your time and for joining us today. Thank you for everyone on the line. And as I mentioned earlier, please don't hesitate to reach out to our office at Goulden & McCarthy if you have any questions that we can assist with. Thank you all. And as we mentioned earlier, this recording will also be available on our website if anybody has any additional follow-ups and would like to hear this information. Thank you all.